Hi, we're very excited because right now we're in the middle of launching our new online sewing course, Zip Along with Confidence. And we've had several requests to have a look and a sneak peek of the course inside. So here it is. In this module, we're going to be teaching you how to insert an invisible zip.
Now, invisible zips are really popular. They're often used in side seams and centre back seams on dresses, tops, skirts, and many other garments. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between a regular zip and an invisible zip. So a regular zip has the teeth on the right side of the zipper. So there's the zipper pull. There you can see the coil or the teeth of the zip. So I'll just open that out. So there are the teeth on the top side. The next zipper is an invisible zip. So there's the zipper pull, different shape to the other to start with. And you don't see any teeth at the front at all because they are underneath. So you see the underneath side looks very much like the right side of a regular zip, but with an invisible zip, the teeth are actually on the underside, which allows the fabric then to coil with the teeth to make the seam invisible. So this one is a lightweight invisible zip, lightweight tape. This one is a heavier tape, so that's for heavier garments and lighter garments. So that is the difference between a regular zip and an invisible. Now I'll just unzip so you can see the zipper itself. So you've just got a little of the teeth being exposed there, and it's a little coil which rolls to the inside. So the zipper teeth are on the inside of the garment, and you see how nice and neat the finish is on the top of the invisible zip.
In this module, we'll be teaching you how to insert a lapped zip. Many people say, what zip? It's L-A-P-P-E-D, a lapped zip.
And a lap zip is generally used in side seams or centre back seams. So as I said before, it's really important to apply the facings to the waistline or the neckline prior to inserting the zip, because very often there won't be any instructions in your pattern instruction sheets as to how to finish off a lap zip neatly. And this is a brilliant method, and I'm sure you're going to be very happy with it. And I'm going to take you through it step by step.
In this module, we're going to teach you how to insert a zip into a fly front.
The fly front zip is usually used in trousers and jeans, shorts and skirts. Now I'm going to press that seam open. That's my centre front seam, and I like to press it on my dressmaker's ham. I just find it very easy to manage and to manipulate if I need to move that at all, and because it is on a curved seam here at the base, I just find it so much easier to handle. Then I'll just turn that over and make sure I've pressed that really nice and flat. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to stitch very close to the edge of the centre front fold to my dot, which is marked as a B, which was where I changed from regular stitching to basting stitching. So there's my point right there. And so this side, which is going to be the zipper on the left hand side for ladies, the fly front is going to be stitched on the right hand side of my trousers as I'm wearing it. So whether you like to zip up on the left side or the right side, it's entirely up to you. Generally it will be left for ladies, but unisex today it can be on either side. Mine will zip up on the left, so I will be doing my edge stitching on the right hand side of the front of my garment. So as you can see, I have tacked both waistband pieces in the ditch, and I'm now just going to sew one side. So I unzip, I've got my regular foot on the machine, and I've lengthened to stitch length of number 3 for top stitching, and I'm going to sew very close to the edge of the waistband. So just a couple of little back stitches, then I've left the pins there just to hold everything in position for me, and very close to the edge. And carefully through the zipper, so I'm at the bulky area here now at the top. Take the pin out and then carefully stitch to the end. So I'll just take a look whether I could do one more stitch. I feel that I can, so manually I will do one more stitch or use needle up, needle down to go that little bit closer. Then pivot. I'm just going to hold the fabric at the back of my foot and continue on towards the top. And once again, just have a little look. Am I close enough to the edge of the fold, or do I need to go a little further? I need to go a half stitch. So what I'm going to do is just take my work back a fraction so that I'm still in the fold of the fabric, and pivot, and then off I go along the top edge.
In this module, we're going to teach you how to insert an exposed open-ended zip.
Open-end zips are mostly used in jackets and in vests, in both woven fabric and knit as well. So here I am at my sewing machine, and I'm going to show you how to sew in this open-ended chunky zip. So I'll just go over again as to what I have done. And so I've double checked that I've got both sides of the zipper in line with my markers here at the hemline, and also at the neckline join along here that they are in line, and also at the top of the zipper pull. So I've got two markers there which they represent the fold line of the actual collar, so that I've got everything nice and even. I'll just turn this over so you can see what I've done here as well. So along the top here, I double checked that these points were in the correct position, so the seam line's matching. And you'll also see that when I attached my collar, I've already graded my seam allowance to reduce the bulk in the collar there. So I've reduced the navy blue, which is the inner seam allowance, about 6 millimeters or 1/4 inch less than the white, and you can see the interfacing has been fused onto the outer side of the collar as well. So with the zipper, as you can see, I've just lined up the red tape of the zipper along the overlocked seam allowance there. And I've got some extra pins there purely for security, but what I suggest, if you have any doubt at all, hand tack the zipper in position and add a few little extra smaller tacking stitches to make sure that that seam stays exactly where you would like it to be. So I'm going to unzip, and so you can see that I've got two different sides to the zipper, obviously. So you've got one side there, you see that's just nice and flat, and the other side has got the attachment with the zipper pull. So that's quite chunky, so I'm going to show you how to cope with the chunky zipper pull so that you'll be able to sew a nice straight line. And the base of the zipper has a very thick plastic area here, so we'll be able to sew through that also using the 90 needle, and just very carefully.
In this module, we're going to be teaching you how to insert a centered zip.
Centered zips are very popular when they're applied to the centre back seam of a dress or a top, especially with lightweight fabrics. Also as a fashion statement, so you'll often see a centered zip down the front of a dress as a feature. And it's also very popular with vintage clothing. So here I am at my sewing machine, and I'm just holding my facing here for the top of the zipper, and I've trimmed off 1/2 inch or 1.2 from the edge, the centre back edge of both of the facing pieces, and you'll see why I've needed to do that as we progress. So I'll just put that aside, and then looking at my sample, which I previously marked, but I'm going to sew my seam from the hemline towards the first marker, which was to indicate the stopper of the zipper. The second marker is actually for the depth of the facing that I have here. So there's my second marker. And then the top one is for the top of the zipper pull is going to be in line with that marker as well, which was 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch from the top edge. And the reason why it is that little bit lower is for the hook and eye that is going to be attached later on. Okay, so 3 markers: start of the zip, the end of the facing, and the end of the zipper. So I'm now ready to machine my seam. I'm going to machine up to this point here with regular machine stitching, and I'm going to back stitch and then change to a basting stitch the rest of the way of the seam. So I'll just place my fabric under the machine, and I have got a wider seam allowance here, as I said, so that I've got a 3/4 inch or a 2 centimeter seam allowance, and I've got the machine set on regular machine stitching. So reinforcing the beginning of that seam, and then I'm just watching the edge of my fabric is in line with the 2 centimeter marker on the plate of my sewing machine, and I'm then just going to stitch along to the first marker that you can see here. So I've just come to the marker. Now reverse at that point and stop and take your work out and cut. So now I'll put my work back under the machine and change to a long basting stitch. Now here I am back at my sewing machine, and I'm going to start sewing the zipper in. So to sew in a zip, you really need to have a zipper foot, and there's a whole variety of feet available according to the brand of the machine that you have. So I've got the Janome machine today, and this is the zipper foot that I have. So I'm just going to change feet from the standard